Hi YouTube, how's everybody doing today? I hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday. I said I would come up with something else, so let's go with Terrific Tuesday. I hope everyone is having a terrific Tuesday so far. If you're not yet, you better start to have one right now. I'll send some good vibes your way. I'd like to start off by saying thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you to every single like, every single comment. I am really grateful and thankful for each and every one. Please tell me how your day is going. Comment me. Tell me what you'd like to see. My name is Natalie Rubio. Really, I'm just a real girl. This is my real life, doing real shit. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I love to write, I love to read, I love to sing, I love music. I never said I was good at singing. I said I like singing. And I know I'm posting a little bit earlier than usual, but my daughter and I will be going out to feed the starving children. We're going to do some volunteering work here on the holidays, and I'm really excited to do that. It makes me feel, really like a good person. So we're going to do that later, and I wanted to keep my word on posting reading my dad's book for 10 minutes. I'm a person of my word, and as you guys know, I'm loyal too, so I wanted to come and do that today. I know that I was thinking about it, and 10 minutes, I'm not sure if it seems long or if it could be long, but I'll start with 10 minutes today, and I'll wait for some feedback. If it's too long, we'll shorten it to 5, maybe 7. If it's not long enough, maybe we'll do 20. I really hope you guys enjoy reading me reading my dad's book. Hopefully you like the story, or you just want to fall asleep to the sound of my voice. Whatever works for you works for me too. All right, y'all. The Alley by Mingo Rubio Jr. I am going to set a timer so we aren't, willy-nilly over here. And once it goes off, we'll be done. Oh, I just changed a minute, so here we go. All right, The Alley by Mingo Rubio Jr. As we went through this yesterday, copyright 2016 to my little girl, Giselle, and that's my daughter. All right, here we go. I would like to share with you one of my stories, one that I've thought about and decided to write. I hope that you find it interesting and not boring. It's a tale filled with suspense, courage, and fright. It brings back some memories from when I was a kid. Most of it is fictional, but there is an alley, and I was 15. And some of the things I wrote about, I actually did. Though a few of those incidents are a little extreme. Well, the night this began was as normal as any other. I was playing with some of my friends in the hood. We were real close to me. We were like brothers, and we hang out all together as much as we could. We would often talk about the troubles we were having. We would lay it all out and sort of compare notes. And by the end of the night, we'd all end up laughing because we all knew we were all in the same boat. So we played games to keep us from stressing, and at first our games were just to have some fun. Eventually, we'd find other things more interesting. Then we were left wondering what we had done. On that particular night, we met at the apple tree, which, as a matter of fact, wasn't an apple tree at all. Nevertheless, that was where all of us would meet. That night, there were only 8 of us, as I recall. I really didn't know how the tree's name originated. It was just what the homies called it many years ago. But that old tree was where we all congregated. It was also a hangout for some old neighborhood winos. I thought the tree was haunted, seemed a little weird because of all the creepy noises you would hear. I thought the tree was haunted, seemed a little weird, and sometimes at night it was a little frightening because of all the creepy noises you would hear, and it had a long history of being hit by lightning. But we didn't care. We would all meet there anyway. And that night there were a few clouds in the sky. We'd meet there to decide on what game to play, and help tag was the game we'd play that night. My friends and I would usually try to get together about an hour or so before the sun went down. We would play our games in all kinds of weather, and sometimes we'd wind up playing all over town. We would usually hang out late until 11:30. I'm gonna have to talk to my dad about that. 11:30 is pretty late to be out at night. But I had to make it home before my stepfather. More times than not, he would even wait up for me. And if I was very late, he'd get all hot and bothered. You see, my real father left us when I was only 10. Though there have been many rumors as to why. Some people say he left us for another woman. but I felt that was not true. We were his whole life. I lived day to day waiting, anticipating for his return, and each day the sun went down, so did my hopes. Oh, shit, I might have to get some tissues. I was already 15, living a life of shame I hadn't earned. I was finding it more difficult every day just to cope. Right then, all I had were the guys I hung around with, and honestly, most of them were worse off than me. We'd always talk about life being better than this when we would hang out around that old apple tree. I often talked about going to look for my old man, and then that I was older, that day was coming soon. At least for the moment, that was kind of what I had planned. But right then, there was really nothing that I could do. I guess that was why I liked to hang out with my friends. I kind of felt free just to get away from the bullshit. In fact, you wouldn't find me at home very often. With my stepfather, it was just too much of a conflict. I had written a letter just a little earlier before. On that particular night, there were 8 of us in all. But usually when we play, there were a few more. I guess the others decided to go to the pool hall. Sometimes we'd go to town and play in the streets. And let me tell you, some nights weren't so good. Most of the time, we'd wind up running from the police, and they'd chase us all the way back to the hood. But that particular night, we all wanted to have fun. We wanted to play help tag, a game we liked a lot. To avoid being captured, you had to hide and run. To hide and run, the winner of the game was the last man caught. It was somewhat similar to playing hide and seek, but with no home base, you had to run, a true test. If you were it, first you'd catch the slow and weak, and then they would help you try to catch the rest. And if you weren't it or captured yet, that was good. For me, this game was a lot of fun and very exciting, and I knew every hiding place in the neighborhood, but I'd spend most of my time running, not hiding. First, we had to figure out which guy would be it. So before we began, we all decided to flip a coin. And the guy that was it that night liked to talk shit. He said, "I'm catching you tonight." His name's Troy. For the most part, this night wasn't any different, other than the moon having a certain glowing light. A glowing moon. I didn't think it was that significant, but later on in the story, I certainly would learn why. When we started, we wouldn't really see the moon. It was there, but it was covered by a lot of clouds. But it looked like the clouds would clear up soon, uncovering the mystery that the story is all about. Among my friends, Petey was also there with me, as we were already ready to play our so-called game. Today, most of my friends are just a fond memory. RJ, Tim, Roy, CW, Troy are some of their names. Most have moved away, and now they live somewhere else. I used to ask around whatever happened to them. Sadly, I found out most of them already occupied prison cells, in and out of prison, never living a normal life again. I'd often wondered why I didn't turn out the same. Maybe someday I'd find the answer to that question. But let me put that aside and get back to the game. So please excuse my brief moments of digression. I told Petey, "Hey, come with me and you might win." At a chance at winning, he said, "Okay, Mingo, I'll go." The whole idea of winning really appealed to him. I knew that it would be a challenge for me, though. Petey was my best friend, almost like my brother. But you've got to keep up. We'll be running a lot. Petey was slow, a lot slower than any of my other friends. And usually he was the first one to get caught. As Troy started counting down, the game began. So everyone ran to their particular hiding places. Troy cheated, though. He saw where everyone ran. Nevertheless, Petey and I were off to the races. I didn't know how long he could keep up with me. I was just hoping that he wouldn't get caught first. He didn't know how to hide, and he ran like a tree. Petey was real bad at this game. He was the worst. I would try to show him a few tricks that I knew that would help him avoid capture a little longer. I felt sorry for the poor guy. What else could I do? I was trying to help his game get a little stronger. The first one that was caught in a previous game was usually it when the next game would start. And if it happened to be Petey, it wasn't the same. He ran too slow to catch anyone, but he tried hard. Eventually, everyone would be chasing after me. It seemed like almost every game ended this way. And I'm sure they noticed that I had taken Petey. I bet they all figured that we would be easy prey. They knew if he ran a lot, he would tire rather quickly, and sooner or later they would find where we were at. We'd run and hide, and then we'd move lickety-split. Sometimes while we caught his breath, we would chat. I knew they felt with Petey we wouldn't last too long. They thought we'd be the first guys apprehended. I had to admit, I really wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted Petey to win before this game had ended. The game played out as I expected, almost routine. Everyone had already run off and found a place to hide. What was to happen later, I couldn't have foreseen. When I think about it then, I keep asking myself why. After about an hour, the game had progressed a bit, and I noticed most of the guys had been caught. In fact, I thought all of the guys were already it. That time that we were the only ones left, things got hot. I apologize. We were there being chased by all of the guys. My plan worked perfectly. Then it was just us two. Sometimes when we rested, I'd look up at the sky. The clouds were still there. Then I saw the moon. To me, it looked different. It had a certain glow. It made me easy to see the guys, even in the dark. Petey got tired. He says, "Go on, man. I'm too slow." I said, "Keep running. I think I see some sort of park over there." We could see the guys as we lay in some weeds, and from that distance, I heard one of the guys say, he told him, "I think this is where I last saw Pete." And it just so happened to be our last hiding place. So I got up from the weeds to take a look around, and suddenly I noticed something kind of strange. That I wasn't at all familiar with this part of town. Then my well-planned strategy suddenly changed. I told Petey we had to run and hide in a nearby field, but first we had to cross over some railroad tracks. I said we could use the berms sort of like a shield, and it just might work if we lay flat on our backs. He asked, "How will we see them if they get nearer? Won't they see us if we were to lift up our heads?" Dang, so they're gonna hide on the tracks, and they're the last two left. I feel like 10 minutes is so short because I want to know what happens. I haven't read the book in about 5 years myself, but lots of good memories. I hope you have enjoyed the 10 minutes of reading. Please let me know if I should go longer. Maybe if I have a little bit of time, I'll do another extra 10 or 20 minutes later. But I just kind of wanted to feel this out. Remember, I'm just getting started with this, just posting my real life and real shit that I do. So please comment, please like, please subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you want to see, any type of music you want to hear. I'll come up with the dance. Shoot, don't play me. Remember, I'm the best at what I do. I hope everyone has a terrific Tuesday. Let's get ready for this next day. That's it. I appreciate you. If you've been here since the beginning, thank you. And please like and subscribe. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. And thank you, YouTube.